The Golden Days Grace's POV. I remember the exact moment I fell in love with Jacob Reed. It was a rainy Tuesday evening at a charity gala in Manhattan, and I had spilled champagne on his perfectly tailored suit. Most men would have been furious, but Jacob just laughed, that warm, genuine laugh that made his eyes crinkle at the corners. "Don't worry," he'd said, his smile disarming every defense I had. I needed an excuse to leave early anyway. That was 3 years ago. Now, as I stand in the kitchen of our penthouse apartment, one hand resting protectively over my 6-month baby bump, I wonder when everything changed. "Grace, where's my blue tie?" Jacob's voice echoes from the bedroom, sharp with impatience. Gone is the gentle tone that once whispered sweet nothings in my ear. "Left drawer, like always," I call back, stirring the pasta sauce I've been preparing for our anniversary dinner. I've made his favorite, penne arrabbiata, with that special ingredient his mother taught me. He rushes past the kitchen without a glance, phone pressed to his ear. "Yes, Mr. Chen, I understand. The Tokyo deal is my priority." His eyes finally land on me, but they're distant, calculating. "Grace, I might be late tonight. Important client dinner." My heart sinks. "Jake, it's our anniversary. We'll celebrate this weekend, I promise." He kisses my forehead absently, already halfway out the door. "Love you." The door clicks shut before I can respond. I stand alone in our kitchen, surrounded by flickering candles and the dinner that will go cold. My father's words from last month echo in my mind. "Are you sure he's treating you right, sweetheart?" "You look tired." I defended Jacob then, insisted that building a business required sacrifices. His company, Reed Enterprises, had just secured its third major investor. I was proud of him, of us. But pride doesn't keep you warm at night. As I extinguish the candles one by one, I feel our baby kick. A gentle reminder that I'm not completely alone. I place both hands on my belly and whisper, "Your daddy's just busy, little one. He'll come around. He loves us." Even as I say it, doubt creeps into my heart like winter frost. Outside, rain begins to fall against the windows, and I can't shake the feeling that a storm is coming, one much darker than the clouds gathering over the city. The fracture graces POV. The argument starts over something small. It always does. "Jacob, we need to talk about the nursery," I say carefully, watching him scroll through his phone at the breakfast table. "The baby's due in 3 months, and we haven't even—" "Not now, Grace." He doesn't look up. "When then?" My voice cracks despite my efforts to stay calm. "You're never here anymore. You missed the ultrasound last week. You missed Dr. Peterson's appointment where we found out. I was closing a $15 million deal." Jacob slams his phone down, his eyes blazing with an anger I've never seen directed at me before. "Do you have any idea what's at stake?" "What I'm building." I flinch, instinctively wrapping my arms around my belly. "What we're building. We're supposed to be partners, Jacob. We're having a baby. A baby I didn't ask for right now." The words explode from him like a grenade, and the silence that follows is deafening. My blood runs cold. "What did you just say?" He runs his hands through his hair, pacing like a caged animal. "You know what I mean. The timing is terrible, Grace. The company is at a critical juncture. I need to focus, and instead I'm drowning in talk about cribs and diapers and your child?" Tears stream down my face now, hot and unchecked. "This is your child, Jacob." "Maybe that's the problem," he shouts. "Everything was fine before. My life was simple, my path was clear, and now there's this constant pressure. From you, from your father. Don't you dare bring my father into this. He's only ever tried to help." "Help?" Jacob laughs bitterly. "Richard Mitchell doesn't help anyone without strings attached. Do you think I don't see the way he looks at me? Like I'm not good enough for his precious daughter? Like I'm some gold digger who married up? That's not true, and you know it. Isn't it?" He moves closer, his face twisted with resentment I never knew existed. Every family dinner is a reminder of what I don't have. Every business tip from him feels like charity. And now this baby, another Mitchell to judge me, to find me wanting. His words cut deeper than any knife. "Jacob, please. You're not thinking clearly. You're stressed, I understand. But you understand nothing. He grabs his jacket from the chair. You've never had to fight for anything in your life. Daddy's money has smoothed every road you've ever walked. But me, I've clawed my way up from nothing, and I won't let anyone. Not you, not Richard, not this baby. Drag me back down. Where are you going? Panic rises in my chest. Anywhere but here. He heads toward the door, and something in me snaps. If you walk out that door right now, Jacob Reed, don't bother coming back. He freezes, his hand on the doorknob. For a moment, I think he'll turn around, apologize, hold me like he used to. Instead, he says the words that shatter my world into irreparable pieces. Fine. Maybe that's exactly what I need. The door slams shut with the finality of a coffin closing. I sink to the floor, my body racked with sobs, cradling my belly as our baby kicks frantically, sensing my distress. The morning sun streams through the windows, illuminating the home we built together, now just an empty shell. My phone buzzes. Through blurry tears, I see a message from Jacob. I'll have my lawyer send papers for you to move out. The apartment is in my name. That's when I realize the man I married is gone, and in his place stands a stranger wearing his face. The father's fury. Richard Mitchell's POV. I'm in the middle of a board meeting when my assistant slips me a note. Your daughter is here. She's crying. I excuse myself immediately. In 30 years of building Mitchell Enterprises from the ground up, nothing, not hostile takeovers, not market crashes, not billion-dollar negotiations, has ever made my blood run as cold as those 4 words. Grace is in my office, collapsed in the leather chair by the window, her face buried in her hands. Her whole body shakes with sobs, and her pregnant belly seems almost too large for her fragile frame. My little girl, my only child, looks utterly broken. Gracie? I kneel beside her, and she falls into my arms like she did when she was 5 years old and scraped her knee. What happened? Is it the baby? He threw me out, she chokes out between sobs. Daddy, he said the baby was a mistake, that I'm holding him back. He's evicting me from our own home. White-hot rage floods through my veins, but I keep my voice gentle. Tell me everything. As Grace recounts the past months, the neglect, the cruel words, the escalating resentment, I feel something shift inside me. I've always been a reasonable man, a fair businessman who believes in second chances. But watching my pregnant daughter fall apart in my arms, I realize that some betrayals cannot be forgiven. Some men need to be taught lessons they'll never forget. Does he know who I am? The question comes out colder than I intend. Does Jacob Reed understand what happens to men who hurt my family? Grace looks up at me with red-rimmed eyes. Daddy, please don't. Don't what? Protect you? I stand, already mentally cataloging everything I know about Reed Enterprises. He made his choice, sweetheart. Now he lives with the consequences. I don't want revenge. I just want... You want to be safe. You want your child to grow up loved and secure. I cup her face gently. And that's exactly what you'll have. But Jacob Reed needs to understand that actions have consequences, and disrespecting a Mitchell comes with a price. I call my head of security first, then my lawyer, then my chief financial officer. Grace watches with growing alarm as I make call after call, but she doesn't stop me. Perhaps she's too exhausted. Perhaps deep down she wants justice too. Mr. Mitchell, my CFO says, I've pulled up everything on Reed Enterprises. They're more vulnerable than they appear. 3 major contracts are up for renewal this quarter, all with companies where we have significant influence. Their primary investor, Chen Holdings, has been wavering, and there are some irregularities in their recent filings that might interest the SEC. A slow smile crosses my face. Interesting. Very interesting. Grace whispers, What are you going to do? I turn to her, and for the first time, she sees the side of me that built an empire. The ruthless, calculating strategist who never loses. I'm going to take everything from him, piece by piece, his contracts, his investors, his reputation. By the time I'm done, Jacob Reed will understand exactly what he's lost. Daddy, he had a princess, and he treated her like trash. He had a family, and he threw it away. Now, I press a button on my phone. Now he gets to watch his castle crumble to dust. As I begin making the calls that will dismantle Jacob's empire, I glance at Grace. She stopped crying, one hand on her belly, and there's something new in her eyes. Not quite satisfaction, but perhaps the first glimmer of healing. Sometimes love means protection. Sometimes protection means war. And I've never lost a war in my life. The Fall Jacobs, POV, 3 weeks. That's all it takes for my world to collapse. It starts with a phone call from Marcus Chen, my biggest investor. Jacob, I'm sorry, but Chen Holdings is pulling out. The board has concerns about your company's direction. Concerns? Marcus, we've been partners for 2 years. What concerns? The line goes quiet for a moment. Someone sent us a detailed analysis of your financial projections. They don't match your public statements. We can't be associated with potential fraud, even if it's just optimistic accounting. My stomach drops. That's not fraud, that's goodbye, Jacob. I wish you well. The second blow comes the next day. Harrison Industries, my largest client, terminates our contract. Then Westfield Corporation, then Meridian Systems. Within 72 hours, I've lost 60% of my revenue stream. This doesn't make sense, I shout at my CFO, Dan, who looks like he hasn't slept in days. These are ironclad contracts. They found clauses, Dan says weakly. Performance metrics we allegedly didn't meet. Technicalities. It's like someone went through every contract with a microscope, looking for any possible exit. A cold realization creeps over me. Mitchell. What? Richard Mitchell, Grace's father. I sink into my chair, the pieces falling into place. He's doing this. He's destroying me. Dan's face goes pale. Richard Mitchell? The Richard Mitchell? Jacob, why would you? Oh God, what did you do? What did I do? I threw out his pregnant daughter like garbage. I said our baby was a mistake. I destroyed the one pure, good thing in my life because I was too blind, too arrogant, too stupid to see what I had. The third week brings the SEC investigation, anonymous tips about financial irregularities. Suddenly my accounts are frozen pending review. My business partners distance themselves like I have the plague. The press, which once celebrated my meteoric rise, now gleefully reports my spectacular fall. I try calling Grace. Her number is disconnected. I drive to Richard's estate. The gates don't open. Security guards I don't recognize tell me I'm not welcome. I'm sitting in my office, soon to be repossessed, when my lawyer calls. Jacob, we need to talk about bankruptcy options. Bankruptcy? The word feels foreign in my mouth. Unless you have $10 million hidden somewhere, yes. Your assets won't cover your debts. The apartment, the car, the company, it's all going to be liquidated. The apartment, the home I kicked Grace out of, the place where she begged me not to leave, and I walked away anyway. I slump forward, head in my hands. In the window's reflection, I see a stranger, hollow-eyed, unshaven, broken. When did I become this person? When did ambition curdle into cruelty? My phone buzzes. An email from an unknown address. No subject line, just 3 attachments. An ultrasound image. A photo of Grace smiling in her father's garden with her hand on her swollen belly, and a birth announcement template dated 2 months from now. The message is clear. Life goes on without you. I zoom in on the ultrasound. My child, my son or daughter, growing in the woman I betrayed. Tears blur my vision, the first I've cried since I was a boy. I'm sorry, I whispered to the empty office. God, Grace, I'm so sorry. But sorry doesn't rebuild empires. Sorry doesn't undo cruel words. Sorry doesn't bring back the only woman who ever truly loved me. My assistant knocks timidly. Mr. Reed? The movers are here. They're taking the furniture for auction. I nod numbly and watch as strangers cart away the remnants of my life. The desk where I signed million-dollar deals. The couch where Grace used to wait for me with dinner. The photo frame, now empty, that once held our wedding picture. As the sun sets on Reed Enterprises, I realized Richard Mitchell didn't just take my company, he took my future, and I handed him the weapon myself. Rebirth and regret. Grace's POV, 6 months later. She has your eyes, my father says softly, peering into the bassinet where my daughter, Lily Rose Mitchell, sleeps peacefully. She has her father's chin, I reply, and for the first time in months, saying it doesn't hurt quite so much. The delivery was difficult, but I survived. We both did. My father held my hand through every contraction, every moment of agony, every tear. When the nurse placed Lily in my arms, I understood what unconditional love truly meant. Not the conditional affection Jacob offered. Love with strings attached. Love that evaporated under pressure. Real love. The kind that weathers storms. Have you heard from him? Dad asked carefully. We don't say Jacob's name anymore. He sent a letter. I gestured to the envelope on my nightstand, still sealed. It came yesterday. I haven't opened it. Do you want to? I look at my daughter, perfect and innocent, her tiny fingers curled into fists. Maybe someday, but not today. I look at my daughter, perfect and innocent, her tiny fingers curled into fists. Maybe someday, but not today. Today, I just want to be present for her. Dad kisses my forehead. You're stronger than I ever gave you credit for, Gracie. I'm proud of you. After he leaves, I walk to the window of my new home, a beautiful townhouse Dad bought for us, filled with light and hope. In the distance, I can see the city skyline where Jacob and I once lived. I heard through mutual acquaintances that he's working at a small marketing firm now, earning a fraction of what he once made. His apartment is in a neighborhood he used to call tragic. His car was repossessed. His friends disappeared. Part of me, the part that loved him desperately, feels a flicker of sympathy. But the larger part, the part that remembers his cruelty, feels nothing but quiet resolve. I didn't ask my father to destroy him, but I didn't stop him either. Lily stirs, making soft cooing sounds. I lift her from the bassinet, inhaling her sweet baby scent, and settle into the rocking chair by the window. Your story starts now, little one, I whisper, and it's going to be beautiful. You'll grow up knowing you're loved, wanted, cherished. You'll never question your worth because your mother will show you every single day. As I rock her, I think about the woman I was a year ago, desperate for Jacob's approval, willing to shrink myself to fit his vision, terrified of being alone. That woman is gone. In her place is someone I'm just beginning to know, a mother, a survivor, someone who understands that the truest strength comes not from avoiding pain, but from walking through fire and emerging whole. Jacob's POV. I stand outside the gates of Grace's new home, the letter I sent yesterday crumpled in my pocket, returned unopened. Through the iron bars, I can see her silhouette in the window, holding our child, my daughter, Lily Rose. I know her name only because my mother told me. Grace had written to her, sent photos, extended an olive branch to the one member of my family who wasn't cruel. My mother's words echo in my head. You were given a treasure, Jacob, and you threw it in the mud. Now you want it back? Life doesn't work that way. Grace moves away from the window, and the light in the room goes dark. I press my forehead against the cold metal gate, tears streaming down my face. Behind me, the city glitters with possibility, for everyone except me. Every corner reminds me of what I lost. Every business success story is a knife to the gut. Richard Mitchell didn't just take my money, he took my future, my family, my second chance. And the cruelest part? I did this to myself. I turned away from love and chased hollow success. I valued contracts over connection, ambition over affection. I looked at my pregnant wife and saw an obstacle instead of a blessing. I'm sorry, I whisper to the darkness, knowing she can't hear me. I'm so sorry. But sorry is just a word. It doesn't rock a crying baby at 3 a.m. It doesn't change diapers or sing lullabies. It doesn't undo the damage of rejection. As I turn to walk away, back to my studio apartment, back to my ordinary life, back to the emptiness I created, I realize that some mistakes are permanent. Some bridges once burned can't be rebuilt. Grace found her happy ending. Mine is watching from the outside, knowing I had everything. and threw it all away. The gate stays closed. It always will. And I deserve nothing less. The end. What happens when a man betrays the wrong woman? When Jacob threw out his pregnant wife Grace, he made one fatal mistake. He forgot her father was Richard Mitchell, a billionaire who destroys anyone who hurts his family. Watch how love turned to revenge, success turned to ruin, and pride became a life sentence of regret. Part 1 starts now.